Hello and welcome to the Lawrence and Schiller Boot Camp webinar series. Today's topic is a very exciting one: iPads and tablets, understanding the audience and exploring the marketing opportunities. I am Mark Glissendorf, Senior Vice President at Lawrence and Schiller, and we're very happy to talk about iPads today. The combination of the rich screen and the beautiful packaging it puts around your brand make it a wonderful opportunity for us. We're going to be talking about three things today. We will give you the latest demographics on who is using iPads, and then we'll move into what they're using them for. And finally, we have a handful of best practices that we've found that demonstrate how we can use them to bring messages about our brand like never before to those consumers. Have some experts here today to provide us the insight. First is Ashley Timmerman, Consumer Insight Specialist here at Lawrence and Schiller. Ashley is a recent graduate from the University of Kansas and spent some time with us as an intern and then earned a full-time position. Ashley is also a graduate of Sioux Falls Lincoln High School. And also with us today is our Lawrence and Schiller Media Director, Molly Schenkel. And Molly's been with L&S since 2002. And prior to that, worked with Cullen McVoy and the Stratton Group. And Molly is a graduate of South Dakota State University. The fire drill today for audio, you can dial in the number on the right-hand side of your screen. And to ask a question, there's a field that you'll see in that box as well. And please, we want this to be interactive, so fire your questions in as they come up during the webinar, and I will be sorting through them, and we'll have a question and answer with our panelists at the end. Also, we are recording the webinar today, so if you want to refer back to something that you've heard, we will have it ready and emailed to you by Monday at the latest. And we'll also have a recap of the content on our blog at ls-unscripted.com next week. You can also chat with us in addition to the Q&A after the presentation. You can follow us on Twitter at The Extra Mile. We're going to start today with a poll question. Want to get your input right away. And the poll question that we have is, let's find out with our audience, how many of you own a tablet? Select one of those, and when we get some responses in, I will show you the results, and then we'll let our panelists see how the group that's with us today compares to consumers as a whole in terms of tablet use and ownership. Thank you for voting. We're going to close the poll, and we will share the results.
Wow.
So,
a lot of iPad owners out there.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Molly and Ashley.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Well, I would say you are a very well-connected audience based on those stats, and we'll show you here in a little bit that there aren't quite that many tablet owners in the U.S. yet, or in the world. And I guess it's kind of hard to believe, but the subject we're talking about with tablets, it really wasn't a consideration for marketers even a year and a half ago. So I don't know about you guys, but when I was looking at some info for this webinar, it really surprised me because I feel like the iPad especially has just been around forever. Well, it really hasn't. The day that it made its debut was April 3rd of 2010.
That's unbelievable.
It really is just about a year and a half, and think how far we've come. And of course there were some tablets before the iPad, but really the iPad changed everything.
Yeah, on this slide we can actually see what tablets looked like before the iPad, and as you can see, it's kind of clunky. These tablets up above, they almost look like a laptop just with a handle. They're clunky. They're portable, but haven't really reached that optimal design quite yet. They're still looking like laptops. But then after the iPad came out, tablets followed in form, and tablets in general have become more sleek, slim, more portable, easier to use and to handle, and look more advanced. They look more modern and just more simplistic. As the shape of tablets evolved, so it has usage. This graph here shows projections of tablet users and tablet sales. As of 2010, about 12% of the internet population owned or used a tablet. And it's predicted that from 2011 to 2012, shown here on that red line on your graph, the amount of people who use tablets will actually double. And as total tablet users increases over the next 5 years, actually, of course, tablet sales will increase too, but just not as rapidly. It's increasing at a more slower rate, shown by the green bars. This could be due to the fact that tablets will be used more in work environments, schools, libraries, etc. People won't have to purchase their own tablets for personal use, but tablets will be more prominent in public settings where people can interact with them day to day. So who's using them now, and what does the typical tablet user look like? Most tablet users are men between the ages of 25 and 44 with a graduate or bachelor's degree, and they have a household income of over $50,000. And what are most of them doing on their tablet? Well, 56% of tablet users watch full-length TV shows, and 55% watch full-length movies on their tablets. What else are they doing besides watching TV and watching movies? They can do that on their TV. Well, one of the most popular activities on tablets is social media. 55% of all minutes spent on social network sites by iPad owners are actually done by people between the ages of 35 and 49. This statistic definitely sticks out in my mind because 47% of iPad owners are actually between the ages of 13 and 34. The last stat on your screen shows how many minutes Generation X and baby boomers spend on social media sites. And you can see it's 45 minutes and 20 minutes for ages 50 to 64. The study also found that adult tablet owners between the ages of 18 and 64 spend almost 4.5 hours on the internet each day compared to 3 hours of non-tablet owners. So when tablets were first released, it was thought that their sleek, modern, and slim look would appeal to people on the go. It should be a portable item that people will take outside the home, wherever they may be. But as this graph shows, 58% of people use their tablet actually at their home. People have their computers, books, magazines, TVs at home already, so tablets must be used as a supplementary item to traditional media. They're watching TV while playing games or checking their email on their tablets. It's not just used as a standalone item. And where are they using them? Well, it's interesting, 78% of people said that they use their tablet in bed, which is kind of interesting. Usually people have TV in their bedrooms, so they must be reading on them, playing games, etc. 30% of people are taking them to restaurants. 60% of people are taking their tablets on vacation with them. And actually, 35% of people owned up to the fact that they're taking it with them in the bathroom. So the woman who put out that study of the social media statistics we went through earlier also came up with this funny but interesting new hierarchy of needs based off of Maslow's original hierarchy of needs. As you can see, she sarcastically jokes that the average person first needs food and water, then shelter, and then actually internet and their cell phone. Well, I kind of think this is true because I know plenty of people who cannot function without their cell phone by their side. If they've left it somewhere, time virtually stops until they reconnect with their dear cell phone. With this being said, will it eventually happen where tablets are as vital to our everyday lives as our cell phone?
I think it could happen, Ashley. I think it really could.
Well, this woman actually seems to think so, Molly. The woman shown in this picture is a mommy blogger who talks about how her iPad has changed almost every aspect of her life. She states, "While others may see that tablets are a fad, I see it as a lifestyle changer, literally something that will change our lives." Well, how could tablet change our lives? How could it be a total lifestyle changer. And what does she mean when she says this? Tablets actually can be integrated into almost every aspect of our day. Work, school, leisure, entertainment, relaxation, and they can fit into any person's personality. You don't just have to be a techie. You can have any sort of personality and be able to use a tablet. So what job do tablets take in our lives? Well, they can be a travel agent. You can take it with you on vacation, sit on the beach. Where should we go to dinner tonight, honey? Oh, I don't know. Let's look at our tablet. It's something you can look up activities on. It's just, instead of sitting on the beach with a hot laptop on your lap, just this sleek little tablet can go in your bag. It's also your library. If you subscribe to many magazines or are an avid reader, you can have all your magazine, your books. If you're in school, you can have your college textbooks, everything on one device instead of lugging around bags of books. It can also stand in as a cookbook. If you're a big chef, you have your 20-something cookbooks with little post-it notes marking recipes, or you have recipes printed off from the internet. Well, here's something you can set up and actually watch demonstrations on, interact with the recipe, try new things. It's a great stand-in. And it's also plays a role in entertainment. It's a space filler. If you're ever bored any second of any day, you can just swipe the screen and watch some TV show. You can watch movies on it, games. It's just always right there. And it also stands in as a workout buddy. Instead of having somebody in leotards and tights screaming at you through the TV, a tablet stands in as something that marks how many sit-ups you've done, marks how many jumping jacks you need to do to burn so many calories. It's just an interactive device. So tablets fill a void that our phones, computers, and televisions can't fill. If tablets are the next piece of technology to be on our hierarchy of needs, what better of a place for advertisers to reach consumers? To catch their attention in the most intimate moments of their day when no other medium can. I mean, heck, we just saw that 35% of people use them on toilets. And with all of this technological capabilities that tablets have, they're in a unique opportunity to engage consumers like never before.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the best practices to actually do that as marketers. And to do that, we looked at a study that Condé Nast did. They were among the first publishers to produce magazines for tablets with the New Yorker, Glamour, Vanity Fair, GQ, and they did some research among tablet owners with 100 one-on-one interviews of those tablet owners and more than 5,000 in-app surveys. So based on that, they came up with 5 best practices for tablet advertising. They're pretty simple in theory, but we're going to take a deeper look at those 5 points and show you some examples where we think marketers either did a really good job or missed the mark. So here are the 5 best practices, and we will go into more detail in these. The first is functionality. So we want to use all the functionality, the interactivity of these new devices. Makes a lot of sense. Number 2, to give users clear instructions for engaging with your ad or your app on a tablet. Number 3, create some new original content specifically for tablets. Number 4, tell a story, tell your brand story through tablet advertising. And number 5, include a clear call to action in order to lead users down the purchase funnel. So the first one, to use the functionality of the device, it seems like one of the simplest principles. But really tablet users and all of us, we're just getting used to these devices. We're somewhat used to swiping, to shaking, gyrating the unit to get the desired result. So why wouldn't we incorporate those actions into an interactive ad? Someone who did this is New Yorker. It's a German clothing company, and they showcased a campaign that they have as a multimedia campaign called Dress for the Moment in a new way where you had to shake your iPad in order to see the different changes of clothing. So we'll take a look at this video now.
Very cool.
Yeah, so again, just a fun way to show the different clothing that they offer. And as you could see, if you selected one of those clothing items, you could even pull up the price of it and potentially go to buy it right from that ad. So great use of using the shakeability of the iPad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, another way to use the device is to engage with users within an app. So Northwestern Mutual did this. They're a financial services company, and they did it by playing to the sports fanatic audience that are Sports Illustrated readers on the iPad. They were the sponsor of the October 24th issue, and they used the sports-minded quiz to do that. So the ad starts out with a clear call to users to play along. It just says tap to start. And then for each level of the column, the pillar that's shown here, you have to answer a sports question correctly in order to move on. So the questions dealt with sports and money. It kind of bridged the gap between what Northwestern Mutual does and what Sports Illustrated readers are really excited about. And then once you correctly answer all of the questions, they rank you. And as you can see, I was a solid starter, not too bad considering I'm not a regular Sports Illustrated reader.
Great job, Molly. You're so
Thank you. Thank you. But they followed up that fun quiz. They really made it worth it with this lead generation form that was within the app. So this is a good example of leading users down the purchase funnel. There are other functionalities, especially on an iPad, the accelerometer. It's the sensor that allows you to flip from portrait to landscape and have the device respond accordingly, so to use that. Of course, games are very popular on tablets. There are opportunities to advertise within them, or you could create your own game. There are galleries of photos, videos, and data feeds. You can purchase roadblock and expandable banner ads similar to how you can on a normal computer. And there are interstitials. These are pretty common on tablet devices. These are full-page ads, and they appear between editorial content pages. So the second item to keep in mind as you consider advertising on tablets is that these devices are still very young, as we've mentioned. We're all still learning how to best use them, so it's really important to give visual and probably written cues as well on how to best interact with your ad or your app. We found some really good editorial examples of this. So this was an ad from Travel and Leisure Family magazine, and on this page, as you can see, there's a video play button right on the photo, but they drew even more attention to that by including the words tap image for packing video, just to make sure that people found that neat video. And then in a similar fashion on this editorial piece, they again gave users the clear instructions for getting back to the article that they were reading. So tap to return to article. This next page, I love this. This is just beautiful on how to make a layer cake. This is from Better Homes and Gardens, their iPad edition. It's an easy tutorial for making a layer cake. And again, instead of just showing the video play buttons in each box, they give instructions to tap each photo to be sure that the readers are really seeing all this great content that they've created.
Yeah, I think that step is in particularly very important because not everybody is familiar with tablets, and especially if they're going to become so popular in public places, everybody's going to have to realize how to use them. So the third pointer Condé Nast recommends is to make sure advertisements include original content and additional information. We talked earlier about functionality and utilizing all of the incredible technological features and capabilities that tablets have, but the actual content itself and the information needs to be there as well. So share with the user information they're not going to see anywhere else, including on TV, on the website, or in a print ad. If an ad is flat and shares the same information that a print ad would, it's obviously not going to be original. How-tos and in-depth, detailed product information make great content for tablet ads. So now I'm going to show you two videos, one of a car advertisement and one of a clothing brand advertisement. The car advertisement really showcases how different and engaging content can be when used in a tablet advertisement versus any other medium. The clothing brand advertisement is more of a missed opportunity. Their ad looks like the website homepage, which is not only redundant, but doesn't take advantage of all the tablet's features. So let's take a look at those now.
I love you, especially today. I love your delicate way.
So as we could see in those two ads, the first one did a great job. One second. The first one did a great job of showing really neat features of the car. You could actually get in the driver's seat and feel like what it would feel like to actually drive and own that vehicle. So they did a great job of utilizing different tablet features for that and showing content that a print ad or a TV commercial wouldn't necessarily give you. But then the Burberry ad, as we saw, that was a lot like a website homepage. I felt like, you know, it just played that video reel over and over, or that little video, and then you could look up store locations on it, which you could do on a website. And I think it says the bottom one was spring swimwear collection, and that's something you could see on the website too. So they didn't quite utilize all of the tablet's features to share original content.
They weren't really asking their users to interact, were they, Ashley?
No. There just really was nothing to do except to view things.
Very true. What a missed opportunity.
Shoot. Well, the fourth recommendation Condé Nast gives us is to tell a story. Make your ad a narrative. Everybody loves a great story and characters that they can relate to. It makes the product and brand easier to remember and share with others too. Tablets give advertisers an amazing opportunity to tell their brand story. With such interactive possibilities, consumers can get an in-depth feel for a brand beyond what print ad or a TV commercial can offer. Consumers get to play, touch, swipe, and control as much of the brand as they want. If you aren't going to share your brand story, share the product story. Let the user get familiar and comfortable with the product, then wow them. So storybooks available on tablets use features to tell the story. I'm going to show you a demo of Alice in New York, a children's book available on iPads. Readers can manipulate the illustrations and actually interact with the book, allowing the book to come to life. And then after that, we're going to show you a Disney ad that also allows its features to tell the story. So let's take a look at those right now.
Love that book. Very cool. I think I'm going to have to buy that for my daughter. Another advertiser, as Ashley mentioned, that does a great job of telling a story and really using narrative, in fact letting their users tell their own story, is Disney. So we saw this ad and we just thought it had a lot of really great aspects. It takes a lot of the best practices that we're talking about today into consideration. So I'll show you a little bit about how this works on a tablet. So this is the editorial page leading right into their ad. Then they've got some user stories. You can click on those. You can play a video. It's a similar video to what they use on TV, so not completely original content, but used in a new way. And then here you can even order your vacation planning DVD right within the application. And then you just move on to the next page in the magazine that you're reading. So a great way to use narrative and really tell a story.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Disney advertisement was interactive by choice, but this next ad we're going to look at doesn't exactly give users the same option. This example isn't as fluffy as the other ones, and it actually grabs attention in a more non-traditional way. As you'll see in the video, users aren't able to continue reading their magazine until the message is developed. So let's take a look at that so you know what I'm talking about.
Wow,
So yeah,
very
that's
powerful narrative, wasn't that?
absolutely. It kind of tells a little bit different of a story, but it definitely gets the message across.
It absolutely does, and it uses the functionality of the device.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fifth and final best practice we're going to talk about today has been demonstrated already in a few of our examples, but it's just so important to direct users to a purchase with these devices. Most people, the common best practice is that it's best to keep this in-app versus pulling users out to a web page. Kind of to this point, the Wall Street Journal recently called tablets the ultimate buying machines. So they had research that showed that tablet users are more likely to buy, and in fact more likely to buy more than their online counterparts. Probably because the images are just wonderful and it's easy to impulse buy.
Oh, danger.
So, yeah, it sure is. We found a lot of great examples, especially editorially. A lot of the publications are doing a really great job of tying their editorial content to purchase. So this is an example from Oprah's Favorite Things from her tablet edition. The simple icons in the upper right-hand corner, they make it really easy to add this to your favorites, to share it, or directly go to the page to buy it. So here's the page where you're directed to with that buy button, and just with a few quick clicks you can have your own cuff bracelet just like Oprah.
Oh man.
So just a recap of the 5 points that we talked about, the best practices. The first is functionality, to really use the capabilities of the device, like the shakeability of it, the gyration. The second is to provide clear instructions so that users know how to use the device, how to use your advertising, just to make sure that they're finding the great content that you're creating for them. The third point is to create some new and interesting content just for tablets. People are using tablets while they're watching TV, so don't just repurpose what you've already got created. The fourth is to really tell your brand's story through your ad or your app. And the fifth is to include a call to action and lead users to purchase. So we've really come a long way. It's just a short 1.5 years. We're just, there have, I think, some really cool things happening with tablets. And with the rate of adoption that's expected for these devices, there's no doubt that development of new applications, innovative advertising, is just going to continue at a faster pace. So one really cool free app for the iPad that we found that we think kind of gives a glimpse into what the future could hold is called Tourist. So this is a virtual tour application. You can really explore anywhere in the world right from your chair. So you're brought to this screen, you can browse tours, you can view the tour of the day, and you can look at a map of the world and kind of choose the location that you want to go to. You can view some of the most iconic places on the globe, maybe the Eiffel Tower, or you maybe want to look at the home down the street that's for sale.
I love that. I think it's
it's really fun. I showed this app to my husband last night, and after seeing, he said, I have to buy an iPad. So give it a try if you own it. We're going to show you a little video. It's a little hard to see through this, but I think it'll give you a little inspiration. So if we can actually travel remotely through these devices, what can't we do, right?
Absolutely, and I loved how they said on there you could put your own logo, your store's name if you want people to travel to your store. I just think it's excellent.
It's a lot of fun.
So going back to the poll question, Mark, can we go through what the poll question was again?
Yeah.
Answers to the poll question. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Molly and Ashley. That was fantastic information. As you recall at the beginning, for those of you who've been with us for the entire session, we asked how many of you have already own an iPad, and we found out that, or some type of tablet, we found out that 45 or 46% of you already have a tablet, and the majority of those were iPad. So now we are going to ask you, those of you who don't already have one, if it's on your holiday wish list, and we'll give just a few minutes while we're letting the votes come in. I want to thank everybody for attending today. I was glancing through the attendee list, and I saw a couple of visitors or guests from north of the border in Canada, making it truly an international webinar today. So thanks to everybody. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll so that we can take a look at the result.
Oh, wow.
And it looks to me like a lot of tablets are going to be flying out of the stores this holiday season. So
Hopefully my parents are watching this and they answered yes.
I am with you, Ashley.
they are, once you put one in your hands, they are a difficult thing to put down, that's for sure.
True.
Go ahead and continue to send in your questions through the question box on the right-hand side of your screen. A couple have come in, and we'll shoot them to you, Molly and Ashley. The first question is, does the Tour Wrist app have the functionality to do point of purchase?
I don't believe it does.
Yeah, I don't think so
I think
either.
it's just a, just a virtual tour, 3D virtual tour. Of course, you could incorporate that into, as it said, it could be whitelisted, so you could potentially incorporate it in a way so that it could. But it's more of a just a inspirational tool, I guess.
Next
Good question.
Yeah, thank you. And the next question is, what excites you most about the future of advertising on tablets?
I can take this one, Molly.
Sounds good.
I think this is really interesting because when people are taking their iPads with them and using it with other media as a supplement, it just catches them at the most intimate times of their day when no other marketers can capture their attention, when no other type of advertisements, when they're in bed late at night, when it's midnight and they're reading or playing games. To be able to catch their attention at that time, you could really make your brand or your product stand out. So I think it's exciting that it just gives marketing a new way to reach people. That's what I'm excited about with it.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I guess to kind of add on to that and to reiterate the point that it's such a, the devices are so new and young, and to see how far we've come. I'm just so excited by the creativity, the possibilities that there are with the devices. So it's a fun time to see what's going to happen in the next few years.
Another question that has come in is, what makes advertising on tablets unique to other mediums?
Yeah, I can take that. I think we saw today, the ability to shake an ad and have it change screens, the ability to have several images within it, to almost have a mini application within it to direct people to a lead gen form right within it. I think people, especially with iPads, but with all tablets, they want to interact with the advertising, which I think is unique, that with television and some of the other more traditional mediums, we expect it to be pushed at us, versus through tablets we're really wanting to be engaged with an ad. So I think that's the most unique portion of it.
I agree with that. I think the action of swiping things, being able to choose what you want to do on it with your own personal touch or by shaking, with a laptop you just can't get that. It's just more in front of you. And there's interaction, but just to a certain degree.
We just had a comment from one of our guests come in that Jim says he's already downloaded the Tourist on his iPhone, and it is so cool! Exclamation point. So
yeah, it's cooler in person, so try it. Trust us.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've heard the tablet described as a lean-back device, and if you think about how it's different from a laptop or a phone, when you have a phone in your hand, typically you're accomplishing something, you're getting something done, whereas the iPad tends to be more of a lean back. Maybe I'm in my recliner and I'm watching TV, and so it tends to be a medium that provides marketers an opportunity to give people a chance to engage in a longer term engagement with their brand. An interesting question relating to the uniqueness of the iPad or the tablets is this a better tool for branding or for direct response?
Well, that's a tough one. I think it's good for both of those. It's great as an inspiration, you know, as you talked about, Ashley, the fact that users can choose and see the branding. Maybe the Disney example that we looked at was a good one, where it really was branding them and had a video that engaged users with the narrative, but then it led people to an action so that they could request the guide right there, the DVD right there. So I think it's really a combination. I think it just depends on what your objectives are as a marketer and what you're looking to do. I hate to say it, but I think tablets can do it all.
Yeah, I agree. I just think with the branding you can do so much. It's a whole new experience that people have never dealt with before, so they can really get to know a brand on a different level. But then with the power of purchasing and funneling them to actually purchasing a product, you could really get a person familiar with a new product as well, as we saw with the car, spinning it around, looking at the dash, looking at all the features. It's for both. I agree with that.
Have a question that just came in from Josh, and he's asking, with an iPad, are you able to connect to S-video or projectors for larger group presentations? And I believe the answer to that is that you cannot right now. Is that correct?
You know, I do not know the answer to that question. We'd have to ask one of our technical people. You would probably know better than me, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm not sure on that either.
To the best of my knowledge, you cannot. But if somebody is tuned in right now and has different information, why don't you fire it in through the question box, and I'll share it with everybody else.
Yeah.
Another question, somewhat related to the last one, but the question from Katie is: Are there tablet ads in the traditional sense, or are the majority of successful ads in the form of applications developed by the advertiser?
Yeah, there definitely are more traditional looking ads too. We didn't show any of those today. They're, excuse my term, but a little boring. You know, we were looking for things a little bit more inspirational, but definitely as you're reading, especially newspapers, USA Today, and even local, KELOLAND.com has an app, and within that there are some traditional looking banner ads. Again, they could be expandable, or in a lot of cases they're an interstitial, so they're between content, editorial content, but there are a lot of opportunities from the local level up to, you know, some of the examples that we showed today are more inspirational and bigger development time, but there's definitely a wide range of advertising opportunities.
Absolutely, and I think if you use a more traditional ad, unfortunately, with all these really cool things you can do with tablet, I think it's almost disappointing when you get to a more static traditional one. You're trying to touch things and nothing's moving, or you're trying to be interactive with it and nothing happens. Not to say it's not effective, but I think there's almost something in people's heads that makes it want to do something cool.
Very true.
We got some information from Lee on the question on connecting an iPad to a projector through S-video. He jumped online and did some quick research for us, and informs us that the iPad does allow for high definition output over HDMI, but that does require an adapter. And that there are some tablet models that have this feature built in. So
great.
There is a way
Thanks,
to do
Lee.
that. Thank you, Lee. Absolutely. Katie asks, how do I convince someone to buy me an iPad?
Well, you stick your lower lip out and say, please.
You could borrow mine for a little bit, Katie. I'm sure that would convince them. That's all it takes. Hands on.
I think, if you just show
have
people.
to have it.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It will be interesting to track the usage, and from just our small poll question here, you can get a sense for how explosive the growth of tablets will be through this holiday season and into the next year. And it's great to have an opportunity as marketers to have yet another tool to interact and find a way to interact with our customers and potential customers, where they want to be met and how they would like to be interacted with. Thank you to Molly and Ashley for your research and your expertise. And I invite everybody to join us. We are going to move into a quarterly mode, and our next webinar will be in January. So there will be more information on that to come on l-s.com/bootcamp, and we will be publicizing that through all of the usual channels as well. So if we don't have a chance to chat with you, have a great holiday, and we look forward to being with you in January.